Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be joined by Brendan Hufford. Brendan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on, Seth. I'm pretty excited.
Awesome. All right. So tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing, because you're up to some really cool stuff.
Yeah. So quick kind of backstory. Currently, I guess I am the SEO director at a really cool agency. I have my own kind of SEO consulting on the side. And I'm launching my first ever course. I am getting ready to kick off a 5-month project called 100 Days of SEO, where I'm going to make a blog post, a podcast, and a video every single day for 100 weekdays. So it's 20 weeks long. It's 5 months long, which will be pretty epic. And this all comes on the tail end of me pretty much feasting at the buffet of entrepreneurship, like trying to do everything, trying to start an e-commerce brand, an apparel company, having my own podcast, doing webinar, like doing all of the things you could possibly do in terms of marketing and products. I tried them all, and I kind of landed here.
That is awesome. All right, so let's go back in time a little bit.
Sure.
How did you get started?
So I kind of got started by accident. Apparently, we think it's a really good idea to let 18-year-olds go off to college, and then somebody looks at them and they're like, "What's your major going to be?" And this 18-year-old that probably shouldn't even be driving, to be honest, and probably definitely is not allowed to even drink alcohol, then decides to take on a bunch of debt. It's pretty much like the worst venture capital move ever. Take on a ton of debt for something that they're not even really sure of. And in my case, that meant I really like school. I'm good at school. I should be a teacher. And everybody's like, "Yeah, man, you should be a teacher. Go do it." So I sat down in that college cafeteria. And I'm 34. I don't know if they still, Seth, I don't know if they still have those like course catalogs. Mine was paper. It was like a phone book of like all the majors and all the courses. It's probably all online now. But in that moment, I kind of decided to be a teacher, and I became a teacher. And within a couple of years, I just felt like really disenfranchised, right? And kind of burned out. So I built a website around something I was passionate about, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then one day some guy was just like, "Hey, if I send you some stuff, will you write about it on your website?" And this was like 2009, 2010, way before influencer marketing was even a thing. And I was like, cool. So yeah, that works for me. You're going to send me free stuff, and I just have to like take a picture and type about it on my blog. And then eventually that started happening more and more and more. And I was like, I should just start my own website. I saw camera review websites were doing really well. And I was like, I should just make one about like my martial art, my sport that I love, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and started doing that. Companies sending me stuff. My basement's just full of all these $200 uniforms. And then the light bulb goes off. Wait, I'm making all of these other companies all of this money. I should just start my own company. So I figured out importing and exporting and getting them made in Pakistan and China, because we don't have the actual, we don't even have the looms to make the material here anymore. They were sent overseas a long time ago, and figuring all of that out. And this whole time I'm still teaching. I became an assistant principal, and it looked so successful. Like my Instagram, if you saw my Instagram, you'd be like, "Wow, that guy's killing it." But inside I was dying. I just had my first kid. I have 3 boys now. Just had my first kid, gained a bunch of weight, had a really unhealthy relationship with alcohol, having panic attacks on Sunday night because being the kind of person I am, which I think you can tell already, I do a lot of things. I'd also become an assistant principal during this time because why not? Why wouldn't you not keep trying to grow your career and your business? And I burned out. It was awful. And what I ended up doing is just kind of trying to scale back. And I ended up selling both the Jiu-Jitsu review website, the Jiu-Jitsu apparel company, and then just really doubling down on the only thing that had ever really worked in those businesses, which was SEO, organic traffic from search.
Wow. So that is quite a story. I'm sure there's a longer version. If it hasn't already, it could fill a book. It probably should. So add the book to your 20 weeks of SEO. So SEO worked to get you traffic to your original Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu site. So how did you then become an SEO expert and land where you are right now?
Yeah. So it kind of happened pretty organically. Like I'd kind of doubled down on it for my own websites, my own projects. And then when I sold them, I had a friend who was a photographer, and we've been good friends, gone to church together for years, know his family, love them all to death. And he was just like, hey, can you help me with this? I have a website. I don't really know. Like, he was very successful already. So I was like, sure, I guess I can just help. I'm still trying to figure out what my next thing was going to be. And I helped him. We tried a couple things. Some things worked, some didn't. And, I thought he was doing really well. So one day we went out to get breakfast, and I'm like, hey man, like, how much money would you say you made from the work that we've been doing? This is after like 6 months. He was like, I can tell you without a doubt, I've made an extra $42,000 just from the work you've done for me. And there was just this light bulb of like, oh, I can make people a lot of money. This is a thing that works for every business. Every business has people searching for their product, their services, their whatever they do, whatever problem they solve in the world. If you're not solving the problem, you're not a business for long, honestly. And they all need to be found because people are searching for them. I can make people a lot of money. I can be really helpful here. So I got a couple more photography clients, and then I started picking up some bloggers, and I started picking up a bunch of this like diverse kind of weird, like a jewelry designer and interior designer, like just eclectic mix of clients. And then I had a conversation with my buddy. He's like, hey man, maybe instead of quitting your teaching job and trying to go full-time with your business, because like I said, I have 3 kids, healthcare in the United States is a little uncertain. He's like, why don't you bridge that? Why don't you just get a job doing that? And then you're only will do one thing. Cause those of us that have built things on the side or are working full-time and building, whether you're building an app or a company or whatever on the side, you're kind of living these double lives. But what if your career was the same as your side hustle, and you only had to, like, as you got better at your day job, right, you got better at your career, or you got better at your side hustle, and it created this flywheel effect. So I applied at a couple places, and I became the SEO director at this really amazing SEO agency in Chicago called Clique Studios, and kind of solve big problems for big clients there, which is amazing. And yeah, it was kind of the path, but it makes sense looking back. There's a Steve Jobs quote about like, when you look back, you can see how everything lines up, and you could never have imagined it going forward. I just butchered the quote. It's like terrible.
That's all good. Don't worry about it.
So
Steve will forgive you.
Right. Older, wiser Steve would forgive me. Younger Steve would not.
Correct.
So yeah, that's what kind of led me there. And what it's resulted is this amazing life of freedom and trust from my employer. And they want the same things from me that I want for my life and my family and my career and things like that, So it's this wonderful alignment now.
Well, that is awesome. Congratulations. Talk about the challenge you've got coming up.
Yeah. So, one of the things so kind of like a day-to-day challenge for me is helping people understand what I do. Because there's this, Google keeps their cards really close to their chest. Like because marketers ruin everything, right? If they just told you exactly the formula to rank your website, like we would all abuse that. We already do, and we don't really know what it is. So they keep the cards close to the chest, and that makes it a hard thing to sell. Because it's like, well, I'm going to do these best practices, and then this other thing over here is going to happen. But we don't have a direct pipeline of, if I do this, it's not like paid advertising. I put $1 in, I get $1.25 out. And that makes it hard to sell. And being a teacher, it made me really fall in love with the education side of things. It's how I sell SEO. It's what I do with our clients. It's what I do with our whole team of designers and developers at Clique, is just really double down on education. And the 100 Days of SEO is really focused on how can I get a prolific, and I would tell anybody to do this. Like if you're starting out in a space and maybe you've been doing really good, but you're not really known and you want to be known, you have to put out a prolific amount of content in media. And I feel like 100 blog posts, 100 podcast episodes, and 100 videos on YouTube is going to be hard to ignore. You're going to
I would imagine so. Yeah, you'll be everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I might be dead by the end of it too, but yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really important project. And I think a rising tide raises all ships, right? If a marketing manager at a company that's doing really good, honest work sees something of mine and they get in and they are able to better that company because of the information I put out, then like we all win, right? So there is a bit of an altruistic kind of aspect to it, in addition to me just wanting to grow my name and my career and whatever, in my own business, and sell courses and do all of the things and get more speaking gigs. That's all part of it. But yeah, so for 100 days, well, I guess 100 weekdays, right? Because I feel like we all take a break on the weekends. Clients always ask me like, why does my traffic go up and down over and over? I'm like, oh, those are the weekends. People go to like businesses less on the weekend, not Amazon. That never goes down. Right. But most of the time we look at business stuff less on the weekend. So a big thing for me is just like, I want to take these 100 days. I want to interview a bunch of really smart people. I want to, which I've already kind of mapped out, I want to review a bunch of good content. The problem with SEO is, Seth, like, it's the only skill you can't learn by Googling it. By nature of what it is, the search results are so manipulated that like you can't, everything's misinformation. And you Google like, how do I get more links? And the website you get on will be like this 10,000 word blog post that makes it sound so confusing and so overwhelming. And why? Because they want you to sign up for their email list for the checklist, which makes it of course. Free. And then the email list makes you buy a course. Yep. And that's so frustrating. Like, why? This is not that hard. Well, it's hard, but it's not that complicated. SEO is just like anything else. It's humans, it's people, it's friendships, it's relationships, things like that. And I want to really demystify it. And I think that's kind of the goal of the whole project.
That is an awesome goal, and awesome to be doing. Got to ask some inside baseball. Any of that content going to be repurposed?
Yeah, I mean, the video.
If you're doing it, all of those things, are any of them going to be, is the podcast getting transcribed, turning into the blog post, or are you doing everything from scratch and making more work for yourself?
Oh, no. I mean, I think that even the way I'm doing it's really smart, and I still think it'll be overwhelming. The audio for the podcast will be ripped straight from the video, and the video or audio, whichever, will be used. I have a really cool partner who's actually a sponsor of the podcast. They're called Podreacher. They really help podcasters create meaningful blog posts that will rank. Like, transcripts are never going to rank in Google for anything. You got to rewrite them. Yeah, there's no real structure to them. So partnering with Podreacher means that I'm able to have these really good, not super long blog posts, but really good, well-written, well-formatted blog posts that have the potential to rank for something or can be repurposed later. But yeah, I'm essentially only having to create one piece of media, and that's the video. And then everything kind of goes down from there.
Awesome. All right. And tell us a little bit about, hopefully, after you don't fall over from the effort, what gets sold at the end of your 100 days?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect anybody to follow. There will be people, hopefully by the end. But the idea that the realistic goal of people following along 5 days a week for 5 months without any hiccups in their own life is crazy, right?
People are going to come in and out, right? I mean,
yeah,
heck, you could turn those 100 days into one heck of a course by itself.
Yep. It's all, I mean, it all becomes assets, right? Any media you create as an entrepreneur should be an asset later. Hey, I've done, all of these episodes of the Sharkpreneur podcast, but there's the 10 best, there's the 10 most downloaded. Wouldn't you like to know what those are? I'll send them to you. Just give me your email address. You know what I mean? Things like you can, not that you're doing that, but like you can repurpose so many things And it's so, so valuable. So I'm looking at creating all of these assets, but then also prior to the 100 Days of SEO, actually starting the kind of Monday after we're recording this, I start to launch my course, which is called SEO for the Rest of Us. Just branded on the idea of like, what if I'm a creative entrepreneur? What if I'm not technical? What if I feel like SEO is overwhelming because people make it overwhelming in order to sell courses. Yep. What if it was just simple and small and wasn't 50 videos and was just 4 live workshops where I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to go through course, just like my expertise as a teacher. I'm really good at presenting, of working with people live in a workshop, and then we'll do Q&A and we'll get these really good case studies. We'll do that, launch it, go into the 100 Days of SEO. And then at the end, I'll have those people that I've worked with will have had all of that information and all of my direct attention for 5 months. We'll have these great case studies. We can launch the course again in a more formal way.
That's awesome. All right.
This is by far, I'll also say really quickly, this is the most planning I've ever done in my business. Usually I just make and do and go. And the fact that I have a plan for 6 months, you can get really far and make a lot of money and have a lot of success just by taking action and doing things. Like I've been doing this since almost 10 years. And this is the first time I've had a 6-month plan. So I just want to encourage anybody kind of watching or listening that just take action, just go.
Awesome. That is great advice. And I can't wait to see the 100 days and what comes at the end of it. For our folks who are watching and listening, who are also excited because we've never been able to master SEO. We gave up years ago because it was too complicated and changed too much, and we couldn't devote all our hours of our waking and sleeping days to figuring it out. Yep. And who wants to learn more, where is the best place for us to send them to follow you for this 100 days?
Yeah, the best place, hands down, is to sign up for my SEO for the Rest of Us newsletter, which is my first and last name, brendanhufford.com/newsletter. Literally, there's no other Brendan Hufford. It's one of the benefits of having a very unique name. Teachers couldn't spell it my whole life and still can't. But if you Google Brendan Hufford, no matter how you spell it, you're going to find my website. And if you find my website and I'm good at what I do, the newsletter's front and center. So brendanhufford.com/newsletter, or just Google Brendan Hufford and you'll find your way there.
Awesome. Okay. We will send everybody there. Brendan Hufford, we look forward to this amazing effort. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on, Seth. Appreciate it.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.